There's another thing that a lot of people make a mistake with when I talk to them, like, I have to go to work today. Change your language. I get to go to work today. Imagine you had no job. It'd be worse, right? So you get to go to work. I have to fix the car. At least you have a car. You get to fix your car. Most people don't got one. I have to go get the kids. You get to go get the kids because you have these beautiful children who love you. People's even their own language is wrong.
Number one habit that people need to adopt: every single time money is spent, you need to identify how your money was taken from you. When you go and buy a coffee, don't just go buy the coffee and sit down. Sit and say, why did I buy this coffee? Okay, I really want coffee. But then why did I go into this store, not that store? Is it better advertising? Do they have less of a line? Do they have seating? How did they convince me to come in here? You sit there and analyze, and you all start to learn little lessons about business. You'll learn about the importance of the signage. You'll learn about the importance of there being no queue. If you start doing that with every single time you spend anything ever, you're going to start to identify business opportunities. I even said it myself. I either want to be filthy rich or flat broke. I feel like slavery's in between. And I said to my brother when we had no money, let's just move to Thailand. Let's just move to Thailand and fight and just live on 50 bucks a day. Just run around on the beach and have our time back. Like, what are we slaving away a job to pay the rent and then we're broke? I either have to feel like I'm going to make it or just quit capitalism.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in between.
Most people are not capable of understanding that nearly every single idea or lifestyle which is propagated mainstream is done so with a Trojan horse. So even if you look at things like women's rights, women need rights, women should be equal under the law, completely agree.
They said they wanted women to work so people could pay more taxes.
Do you know what else they wanted them to work for?
Get the kids out of
To get the kids out of the influence of the parents. When the woman's at home and the father's at work, those children are learning from the woman, who's probably learning from the father, and you get to instill your own beliefs in those children. Government doesn't want that. So they get the woman out of the house, and they send you to school for as long as possible to reprogram you. This is why you will see YouTube videos of children arguing with their parents, and their parents will say that's not true, and the children will say, I learned in school, and they start arguing with their own children. You don't own your own children's minds anymore, because your children's mind is owned by YouTube and the school. And the school will say to you, if your parents ever yell at you or get aggressive to you, you come to me. We'll tell the police. Don't worry about that, because this is how you control the future. So the whole educational system in and of itself is a scam. They use feminism and the whole women's rights bullshit to get everyone's children into the indoctrination machine. They keep you there as long as possible. They want you to finish in debt, because then you got to get a fucking job and become a good slave. But they don't teach you anything of value.
How many women have you loved?
I don't know, Piers. A few.
Give me a ballpark. 5, 10, 20?
Let's say...
You don't forget how many people you've been in love with.
Let's say 10. I mean, I've been in love, and I certainly believe that men and women, when they work together, it's the most beautiful force on the planet. I believe in family. I believe in children. I believe in...
If you believe in family and children and love, why are you single?
I'm not single.
Well, you're not married. That's what I mean.
Well, if I was married, the last thing I would do is advertise it to the feral psychopaths on the internet. So
I'm not a feral psychopath.
Well, that
you called me friend earlier.
Can be debated, Piers. But the point I'm making as a whole is that all of these...
Do you want to get married? Is my point.
No, but let's please for a second.
You don't, or you do?
Let's please for a second, because you've interrupted me so many times I've failed to...
Well, actually, I've only interrupted you, just to be clear, when you've actually answered a different question.
Cool. Well, then on all these points you're making...
And you've admitted that.
On all these points you're making, on repeat, you're taking these sentences and on repeat you're you're weaponizing them against me.
I'm not weaponizing anything.
Okay, it's fine.
No. You're weaponizing the weaponizing, which doesn't exist.
No problem.
But you said to me, come on, bring it on, read out all the things that you think are blatant misogyny. All I've done is literally read out all the things we identified from all the research that I thought were blatantly misogynist.
Understood.
And giving you the chance to respond. And the only time I've interrupted you is when you've tried to answer a completely different question.
Understood, Piers. But these things were said in large context where often I'm talking about how, for example, on the same podcast where you've read one of them sentences from, I was talking about how it's a man's duty to die by a woman. And the guy asked me, he said, if 10 men with knives attacked your woman, wouldn't you just... I said, yeah, I'd stand and die. I'd never just run away, because I have a duty as a man. I must die on the spot to protect her honor and my honor. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about a man having responsibility to his duties. I'm talking about the old traditional ways of masculinity. And what happens is a few sentences from such a long conversation is taken and used against me.
I understand that.
So I want you to understand that I'm talking about protecting and providing for women. I'm talking about a man making sure...
Do you want to get married?
No, but we have to all feed into each other, Piers. I'm talking about
protecting. It's not a hard question.
No, but I'm talking about protecting and providing for a woman. I'm talking about a man being responsible for her safety.
I understand.
So of course I believe in men and women. Of course I believe in love. Of course I believe in marriage. Of course I believe in family.
No, but
the idea that I don't believe in the idea that I don't believe in these things is crazy.
I didn't ask you if you believed in it. I asked you if you're going to get married.
One day, absolutely.
You'd like to.
If I'm not married already, I will be married one day. If I'm not.
Well, you might be secretly married.
I could be married, correct.
Why would you not tell me either way?
Why would I advertise to the feral psychopaths of the world who have tried their very best to destroy me for an opinion about my private life and the things that are most sacred to me? Why
Well,
would
you
I
think
do
if
that?
you said you were married, everyone would hate you?
I don't know why people hate me. It's about me understanding that I'm a hard target, but I am very, very protective of the people I care about.
Right. But you believe in the concept of marriage?
Completely. That's what we were talking about the whole time.
What do you think?
We talked about a man giving a woman away.
Okay.
I believe in marriage more than anybody. In
here's
fact,
my-
I believe in marriage in, no, please. I
Okay.
believe in marriage in the traditional sense. I believe a man has a duty to stand up and be a real man. I believe that the problem with the world today that we are facing is that not enough men are sticking to the age-old ways of masculinity. I believe that me standing up and saying a man must protect a woman and provide for her, so he needs to make sure that she's safe. He needs a degree of authority to
I have
protect
no
her.
problem with-
No, but people do have a problem with it.
I'm
that's
not- sorry,
that's the world we're in now.
Why do you think we get along and other brothers don't get along as well as you and I?
I think that you and I both have very unique personalities, and it's not, I wouldn't give credit fully to us, to me and you. Me and you are clones of Dad. We've inherited a mindset which is from a very unique individual, and I think me and you both find it hard to make friends with people who don't share our mindset, and hard to find people who share our mindset in general. I think that brothers who don't work well together really need to reevaluate their life choices. Because you have to understand, even if you don't like your brother very much, who else but your brother are you going to trust? Around your women, around your money, driving your cars, etc. When I bought my first Range Rover, you crashed it. What was the first thing I asked you on the phone?
So you didn't care about the car, you asked about us, all right?
I asked if you were okay, exactly. So brothers who are at each other's throats all the time and can't work well together, that's fine, but you're not going to get as far in life, and you're never going to find someone you could trust as much as your brother. So I would reconsider your position.
But what if you have a little scumbag brother who like steals your money and doesn't listen and that shit? Then what are you going to do? What if you have a little douchebag, a liberal? Then what?
Jesus, I don't know. Well, I think it's the older brother's job, I guess, to try and influence the younger brother as much as he can. I mean, we separated living with Dad full time. You were about 10. I was about 8. And I wouldn't say I was off the rails at all, but you did certainly have to teach me a lot of life lessons at age 13, 14, 16, 18, even as old as maybe 21, 22, until I could say I was my own man. There were a lot of lessons I looked to you for. And that's not to say that, I'm necessarily the student and you're the teacher, but you are the older one. You lived these things about 2 years before I did. You had your first girlfriend 2 years before I did. You got your driving license 2 years before I did. So a lot of lessons in life, you had to teach me and guide me. So if your brother's a little dickhead and he's so different from you and he's not the way that you want him to be as a little brother, certainly, I mean, you failed, I guess, in your role as an older brother.
Yeah, you whoop his ass!
Yeah.
You whoop his ass! My little brother doesn't listen to me. Well, fucking why? Who's protecting his bullshit ideas? You need to go in there and kick his ass, and if your parents are sticking up for him being a little bitch, you need to sit down and talk to your parents, too.
I completely agree.
What's going on with people? Like, oh, my little brother is a little retard. Give him an elbow on the top of his fucking head. Correct him.
And if it's your older brother who's a dickhead and you're actually smart and on the right path and the kind of person who listens to this podcast, but it's your older brother, it's still your job. Brothers are brothers. I look out for you. You look out for me. That's the way we've always been. If you've got a best friend and you're saying shit like, oh, we're like brothers. Me and him are like brothers. You're not. You have to have a brother to benchmark it by. And if you did, you wouldn't be saying that shit.
I agree completely. People.
I was saying this to Tristan only a few weeks ago. I said, you know what, man? Before Instagram, before dating apps, imagine like you met a girl and she was perfect for you and you fell in love with her and like you broke up and you just never saw her again. You didn't know what she was up to. You didn't stalk her Instagram. You didn't meet her again you didn't message her. You just never saw her again. Isn't that crazy? Imagine how much you'd love a woman if you couldn't see like all these other bitches online and stuff. Imagine how true feelings used to be. Everything in the world, the modern world is so diluted. It's all diluted down because there's unlimited option, right? It's interesting. It's an interesting way to view the world and think.